6 April 2021, we have a field trip to KPFB in Gong, Badak, Terengganu. So, let's check out this video.
As we enter the factory, there was a few tanks at the front of the factory which store molasses. There was so many white jumbo sacks all over the factory. The sacks contain raw materials to make feed pellets. The raw material can last for 4 days for production and will replenish after that. On the other side of factory, they store the finishing product according to the manufacturing date. They produce various types of ruminant feed pellet. The color printed on the sacks will indicate the type of feed pellet. The color coding for cattle pellet is green. Meanwhile, for sheep, there is 3 colors which is purple, yellow and blue. Purple is for the lamb sheep, yellow is for the breeder sheep and blue is for the grower sheep. The mechanism at KPFB Bersepadu factory begin from silo. This silo use bucket system. The raw material such as PKE, which is the palm kernel expeller, and corn will go into that hole and went up by the gravity to the conveyor and fill this tank called silo. There is 12 silos available there which store different type of raw materials with the capacity of 50 tons per silo. The function of silo is to store the raw materials that require in a large amount. The raw material will be transported into mixer to the conveyor using that silo controller. The silo controller is used by inserting the silo number and the amount needed. For small amount that less than 50 kg will be added into the mixer manually.
The first process of making the feed is mixing using the mixer. The mixer is important to make sure all the nutrients are spread thoroughly in the feed. The mixer's capacity is 1 tons with up to 10 to 30 raw materials. The raw materials are transported through a conveyor and also from the silo. The conveyor will transport all of the raw materials up into the mixer. As you can see, the mixer is located up there. The mixer is used to mix all types of feeds, which takes up to 10 to 15 minutes per ton. After the mixing process, all of the mixed ingredient will be transported and stored inside a vertical holding bin.
After that, the mixed ingredients will be steamed in the conditioner. Steam are injected to cook raw material before going to pellet mill. KPFB got a feedback from their customers that they prefer cooked feed than raw feed because when their animals consume raw feed, the possibilities of their animals to get diarrhea are very high. The pellet mill is used for converting feed ingredients that are in mesh form into dry pellets, resulting in strong, smooth pellets that are good for feeding livestock. Here, the raw material are passed through the die ring to shape it into pellets according to the predetermined size. The diameter of the pellet for each animals are different. The rotational speed for die is 328 rpm with diameter of 350 mm and working temperature is about 85 degrees Celsius.
Next is the cooler. In the cooler, pellets are cooled by passing ambient air through a bed of hot pellets. Though the primary function of coolers in a feed mill is to cool the pellet, It should also remove excess moisture from feed that was added through steam during conditioning process. After the pellet have cooled, the pellet will go through the rotary screener. The function of rotary screener is utilized in complete feed pellet production line to screen and separate powder or undesirable feed particle from standard feed pellets, and the separated powder and particles will go back for reproduction. This process is done to maintain the quality of pellet so that the company can supply a guaranteed pellet feed to the customer.
The automated weighing was set to 50 kg of pellet for each guni size. The package process of the usable pellet is carried out using the auto bagging machine. The operator places a guni set on the spouts by raising the ruler pegs and begins filling the guni sets by pulling down the lever for the cut-off gate once the guni set is filled. A simple tap on the release bar of the roller clamps drops the guni sets to the conveyor. A limit switch will stop the conveyor, so the bed can be reformed. After reforming, the guni sets is sent through the sewing head. Once the bed is sewn, it continues down the conveyor and is placed on a pallet.
We can conclude that the feed processing industry is very important to provide nutritious feed, and all the technology used play their role in producing high quality feed.
Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for watching.